When we talk about GTA Vice City, the conversation mostly revolves around the atmosphere. No wonder. Even though I love the story, it has to be said that it's full of holes. Sometimes it's a bit weird and it's lacking threads, which would complete the whole. Some threads, like the one with Umberto Robina or Auntie Poulet, don't even make that much sense. We need to make quite a lot of stretched assumptions for everything to hold together. After all, what did Tommy work for some guy with a mustache for who wore a too short shirt and was running around with his navel out, which made him look like a pervert from Marrakesh? Especially that our Tommy can't complete those tasks once he's already bought all the businesses, cribs, and also has got Diaz's mansion with swimming pools, labyrinths, and a helicopter parked on its rooftop. Additionally, even more dollars are on the way because the cocaine trade is running as well as a well-oiled machine. Side missions? Well, those are not perfect either. Me, I like them, and you probably do too. After all, you're watching a channel for GTA fanatics, so you're probably amongst them, and you have a higher tolerance for these things. But many players would frown at a paramedic mission, for instance. Dating? Activities that require the use of the map or some fancy-ass hidden secrets? Well, no fireworks either. There's stuff like that present, but nothing overly special, especially after a comparison with the release 2 years later, GTA San Andreas. So essentially, everything comes down to that wonderful, one-of-a-kind atmosphere of Miami in the 80s, which was boosted to the limit in GTA Vice City. The sentiment I've got for this game is hard to describe. When I look at my game shelf and see the box with this game, my heart wants to jump out and beautiful memories begin racing through my mind. However, what if we put the sentiment and the beautiful memories aside? What if we looked at Vice City without those rose-tinted glasses? And trust me, it becomes different. The Golf Club, a location hard to miss, an iconic place, especially for a rich citizen of Vice City. Additionally, this location was made very extensive. The question is whether not too extensive. Exactly. If we compare the size of the golf course with the whole town, one may be pretty shocked. The club is gigantic. It's best shown from above. Then we see that this location might have just as well been a fully fledged neighborhood of Vice City, and a big one as well, because the course is larger than the nearby Starfish Island, on which Tommy's mansion is located. The worst part is that the course is relatively big compared to Vice City, but at the same time, it doesn't really play a big role. We can't play golf there, and there isn't a lot going on there story-wise, apart from one short mission called 4-Iron. So one may be under the impression that it's a typical case of implementing something which is easy and quick to design, and which will simultaneously take up a lot of space and make the map bigger. The fact how much of a blatant gap filler the location is best shown by GTA San Andreas. If we bounce over to Las Venturas, we can also visit a golf course in the northern part of town. It's far smaller than the one in Vice City, and it literally drowns like a Titanic in the vastness of the sole Las Venturas, let alone the entire state. A thing that is also a complete absurdity in the Vice City map is the beach. It practically constitutes half of the East Island, though the biggest issue is that the area is one big ghost town. All we can find there is some random pedestrians, a handful of lifeguard booths, but in general, a total Sahara. Just sand, sand, and even more sand. The typical beach atmosphere is also not present. No one is running with a dog in the morning there, no stalls selling food and beer, no bars serving drinks. The so-called ambiance is completely missing. Where are some dudes hitting up chicks? Where are couples playing beach basketball? Where are people playing in the water or a beach club? None of that is to be experienced here, which makes the Vice City beach a total disaster, which is additionally enormous and which plays no role in the story, similarly to the golf course. Besides, the ambiance is far from polished in many locations. We told about the golf course, on which no one ever plays golf. We told about the beach, where no one ever swims. Another example are the pizzerias and fast foods, which I don't know how haven't gone bankrupt yet, since their only customer is Tommy. The tables are always empty. No one orders food. People sometimes walk around inside, but I think it's only to admire the interior design and to maybe talk to other customers. Another thing which is done due to limited resources, but which wasn't entirely well thought out, are the swimming pools on some of the buildings at Ocean Drive. See, these pools are just simply fake. They're just paintings of pools on concrete. It looks as if someone made an LOD texture and then forgot about the actual one. The best thing is that not that far away, another 2 buildings with swimming pools are situated, and those were designed entirely well. I'm talking about the buildings right next to the Malibu Club, though here there's also one thing which seems off to me. See, one of the locations was designed very well, probably because a story mission takes place here. The rooftop in the building nearby also has an actual swimming pool, but the spot looks more like from an apocalypse movie. Dirt and jungle on the walls. I don't think that someone in Miami back in the 80s would neglect such a brilliant business spot. After all, the building is located right next to the Malibu. It would make a perfect spot for a warm-up party. During daytime, pool and drinks, and in the evening, the main event at the Malibu. There are many other locations with a goofy design to be found in Vice City. For example, the building in Vice Point has balconies, which are not only unnaturally flat, but a person standing on them cannot see anything. The agent selling this apartment surely had a great laugh. Hello, I present to you an apartment with a view on the wall of your own balcony. $2 million is the price. Goodbye, I've got another bunch of suckers lined up. Additionally, the developers implemented a charming decoration in the shape of trees growing in concrete. Next up, I wish good luck to those who will want to play tennis on this court you see right now. The designer should get a sentence for that, and best make it a life sentence. The court's texture was set at a wrong angle, and is therefore unnaturally stretched. It's best shown if we compare this court with the ones at the golf course, which were implemented properly. And now, a section of various oversights and design errors. The section won't be short as there are quite a few of those. First, a mystery. What is the function of those empty pots placed directly under the stairs at the El Swanco Casa? Although, judging by the weirdly placed palms a few meters away, one can quickly tell what went wrong here. Intriguing images are also to be seen near the golf club, where at one spot, the ocean's bottom's texture was blatantly cut in the ugliest way conceivable. Phil Cassidy uses a sink without a tap. Similar fetishes are common also among the prisoners at the police station in Washington Beach. One of the mansions on Starfish Island has 2 balconies, to which there's essentially no access whatsoever. Ricardo Diaz boasts a similar balcony, as the only way to get there is through a window. Another interesting place is a donut store, next to which the military stops during the Sir Yes Sir mission. One can doubt about why they stop there, as its fascia says squirt 24/7. But yeah, that's more of a joke than an oversight. That brings to mind another classic Rockstar joke in the context of stores in GTA. I'm talking about a second-hand clothes shop next to the Love Fist studio, where under the main sign it says that the clothes may be stolen. Advertising geniuses. In the Vinyl Countdown store in the shopping mall, there's a lacking texture inside. Heaps of big tires at the scrapyard produce the same sound as hitting a vehicle. Right next to it, behind the scrapyard's wall, some joker decided to build the structure out of car wrecks. In many places, one can also encounter empty patches of land. You know, a lot of buildings and infrastructure all around, and then you've got this random rectangle of grass that hasn't somehow been utilized by anyone yet. We can find newspapers and leaves littered around, even on the building's rooftops. It seems that everyone in Vice City distributes flyers by planes and does it on a huge scale. In the office downtown, some employees have to stand or crouch while working with a computer because the company doesn't provide chairs. In many places in Vice City, we can find several identical shop fronts lazily pasted next to each other. It is a funny sight to see 3 identical businesses right next door to each other. In general, Vice City's map is dark arts at times. A good example are the levitating lights at the summit of the skyscrapers downtown. At Phil's trailer, there are posters which show that the person who designed them had a bad day or lacked ideas because they decided to randomly smash their keyboard to fill the space at the bottom of the posters instead of coming up with something sensible. The Cherry Popper Ice Cream Company seems to be unfinished overall. First of all, there are missing textures on the catwalk. In turn, downstairs we can find a weird room which is empty inside if we look through the glass. This changes, however, if one gets inside by using a free camera mod. Then it turns out that there's furniture inside, only that it's not visible through the glass. By the way, the containers placed behind the factory are also pretty suspicious. I wonder how someone managed to place them one on top of another. We're not at the docks, we're a long way from cranes. The access to the area is very narrow, so it's hard to imagine someone bringing massive gear in there. If you have an answer to this riddle, let me know in the comments. Another miracle of architecture is this patch of asphalt, which you see on the screen now. There are no building exits next to it, no sensible access, and despite that, we got a big-ass patch of asphalt with an imitation of a parking lot and also a weird walled area. God knows for what and for whom. It's tough to figure out what the author meant here. A location which can be laughed at a bit is the Escobar International Airport. Walking inside it, one can get the impression that one is wandering around in a very poor neighborhood. The majority of local travelers are prostitutes and homeless people. At a place like that, we should be able to see tourists, businessmen, and so on, not ladies of the night. The least they could have done is to add some toilets for discretion. After all, who'd want to be having a good time with a prostitute in the middle of a terminal? The Vice City Airport is also a wasted opportunity for a set of cool mechanics. For example, it would boost the immersion if the peds were regularly entering and boarding bridges. And analogically, it would also be cool if the planes parked next to the bridges actually drove away at some point and took off. It could even be timed. First the script would wait until, say, 10 pedestrians walk through the bridge, and then it launches the plane takeoff procedure. And as it is, another major Vice City location in the shape of the Escobar Airport became a place where it's futile to look for events characteristic to such a facility, and around which walk prostitutes and bums. And right next to the airport, we've got the military base, and there we can find some inconsistencies as well. That will also apply to GTA San Andreas actually. See, why when we're next to the military base and have 6 stars on our account, the game still sends on us the military from God knows where? Why don't the soldiers in the base react? Well, the only option I see is that the military was so expensive in 1986 that the Americans would rather bring them in from abroad. See, where I'm from, if you go to the supermarket and you buy frozen strawberries and read the packaging, it turns out that they've been imported from Turkey because it's cheaper than selling the ones grown locally, even though we grow plenty of them too. Our strawberries are in turn exported to the UK, so it seems that the military in GTA went a similar route. And since we're near the airport and the military base, we're also not far from the Sunshine Autos car dealership. Let's talk about that place for a minute. It's all about the big-ass empty area surrounding it. Let's remember that in GTA Vice City Stories, which happened 2 years prior to GTA Vice City, there was an atmospheric trailer park where people lived, like for example Marty Williams and Louise Cassidy. The question arises, what on earth happened with that entire trailer park in GTA Vice City, assuming that BJ Smith, the owner of the Sunshine Autos, bought that whole area in order to kick the people out of there and tear it down, so that doesn't scare off the customers. Then why the hell did he decide to just grow grass there rather than to bring in investors and develop the region? Cause as it is, it looks as if BJ purchased a neighborhood scale amount of land, then used only a tiny fraction of it and happily paid tax for owning the entire thing, additionally wasting its potential. I mean, it was a cool piece of land next to the airport and the docks. I think we know why he's gone bankrupt after all. That land was a gold mine. A corporation like Amazon would immediately build a warehouse there, and it'd probably be so big that it would be visible from Mars. And now a thing that at first glance appears to be absurd, but in reality has a very smart use. See, using FreeCam, one can see that the hotel downtown has been pasted twice. Once on the surface and another copy rotated underground. At first, it seems like just a simple misclick. Someone must have accidentally pasted it like that, and it just stayed because it's underground anyway, and it's not visible to an average player. Well, nothing further from the truth. This measure turns out to be very smart. In front of the hotel, we've got a water pool. As we know, water reflects light in real life, so we should technically be able to see the reflection of the building in it. However, if the developers implemented reflections like in GTA 5 and GTA Vice City, the PlayStation 2s, shocked by what the game wanted them to run, would probably initiate a self-destruction protocol and throw themselves away on their own. Thus, the developers decided to handle this differently. They removed the texture of the bottom of the pool and pasted the rotated copy of the building underground to imitate its reflection. Sure, this is a complete scam, but an average player won't ever know that something is wrong. A similar case is with the hotel where we met up with Gonzalez in GTA Vice City Stories. But there, the texture of the floor of the pool wasn't removed, so the reflection effect isn't observable. In turn, Gonzalez's hotel, where we kill him in GTA Vice City, has a suspicious lamppost layout on its parking lot. First, they're placed only along half of the length of the lot. Second, they're way too close to each other. Most likely, someone was copying the lampposts and changing the coordinates of each next one by an equal value so they equally distance from each other and so they cover the entire edge of the lot. But the calculations must have gone wrong. The value by which the developer was changing the coordinates each time was twice too small, thus such a weird outcome. On the little roundabout west of the Malibu Club, I don't know if you noticed, cause the game rarely leads us there, we have a ramp, which is there for an unknown reason. I mean, if it were a unique stunt jump, then fine, but it's not there. Possibly because the way to that ramp is so curvy that it'd be mostly difficult to jump over to the golf course. You have to use the tapping method, and the only use for this ramp is the Mission 4 iron. We take a PCJ, we accelerate, jump over to the course, we drive the bridge through to the other side, where the guy we need to kill for Mr. Carrington is located, and thanks to the fact that we haven't gone through the metal detectors at the main gate, which strip Tommy of his weapons, we can easily get rid of the guy. Another thing which can seem quite random for someone unacquainted with the topic are the 3 wooden huts out in the sea in the south of the map. 3 abandoned huts, one of them damaged. It's hard to think of a reason for their existence, but it turns out that those have a fascinating story behind them. See, in the 20th century, that place was a home to clubs, which didn't only provide a unique atmosphere to their customers, but also wanted to stay away from the authority control. It's because at those places one could gamble, which was prohibited back then. Some clubs used the remote location to sell alcohol without a license. Eventually though, most of them were reached by either the law or a hurricane. One could compare this to the gambling dens in Sleeping Dogs, which also operated on the water and avoided the usual city jurisdiction. The place was really popular in its time, and it even appeared on some postcards. It was a place visited by the rich to relax and indulge life. In the end though, most businesses fell victim to hurricanes, the result of which we see in GTA Vice City. At the end, one question pops up in my head. What would it be if the developers of GTA Vice City were given not a year, but 2 or 3 years to make the game? If the product that reached our hands, which was clearly not polished and even unfinished in some aspects, still gave us such beautiful memories, then how incredible could this game be if it was polished the same way as GTA San Andreas? And this is precisely the entire paradox of GTA Vice City's success. Despite the fact that a lot of things give the impression that they were made in a rush, from various mechanics through unpolished systems to the story, which we dissected not once, not twice already, there's still a huge group of players out there who love this game dearly. Vice City counters all that mess with something which is the hardest to design and code: the unique atmosphere. The outcome? All its inconsistencies, oversights, and shortcuts disappear from the view of an average player. All that stays is the neon-lit night, the music from the 80s, the palms swaying to the wind, and the feeling that you take part in something special. Thanks for today. I hope you're not sick of GTA just yet, so I leave you recommendations as to what to watch next. Thanks for the support, take care, and see you soon.